How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper, and my goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading when the price is going up or down. Orbiter finance, alleged hack, and Discord deletion. The circulating claim in the afternoon was there were disruptions in transaction confirmations. Afterwards, the project's Discord channel suddenly got deleted, and all this brought up allegations of the bridge chain being hacked or being a rug pull. However, Orbiter spoke out. They said they are trying to reach out to Discord, and Discord did block their account by accident. They're not sure why, so that's why their account shows as a deleted account in their channel. So they're apologizing to everyone, and they are just asking for some patience as they try to work through what's going on. A crypto analyst known as Defias made a statement about the possible cause of the disruptions. According to them, Orbiter uses the last 4 digits of the transaction amount to determine the recipient chain. If a user were to manually change the transaction amount, it can cause disruptions like today. So a lot of people must have changed that little ending number, and that caused a lot of problems. And then their Discord got shut down too. Probably could be related, might be unrelated. Ethereum's Vitalik warns of risk in Lido and Rocket Pool. So these are two. Lido is like something that Ledger will pump on you as soon as you open your Ledger up. Lido and Rocket Pool are two of the largest liquid staking ETH pools by market share. They allow users to participate in staking ETH and earn rewards without having to lock their funds into a smart contract like other pools do. Buterin said that Lido's model of having its decentralized autonomous organization, whitelist node operations, and Rocket Pool's model of having users put down 8 ETH to run a node has different issues. Rocket Pool's approach would allow malicious actors to a 51% attack with relatively low cost, which would force users to pay most of the costs, said Buterin. Meanwhile, Lido DAO's approach would create a scenario of potentially attackable governance gadget controlling a large portion of Ethereum's validators if a single staking token dominates. So both are susceptible to a more than like a 51% attack. To the credit of the protocols like Lido, they have implemented safeguards against this, but it seems to be one layer defense that may not be enough, said Buterin. Another solution would be enshrining features at protocol level to curtail the effects of the centralization in other areas. So basically what he's saying is to centralize what would work across all the staking systems and then branch out and have each make their own features on their protocols on a level by level basis, branching off of that. On the charts, our Dixie is pushing a little bit. We're not really going too far today, only a 0.4% gain. Stochastic is heading down. Overall, we do have a bullish cross, but our RSI is starting to curl over. Our momentum is at risk of falling down as our VWAP is in the bullish territory, but we're coming into resistance around the 6.4 level. If we're not able to break above this zone and gain more momentum, we're likely going to pull back here. Money flow also is in a bit of a high spot that we haven't been in for quite some time, and it ramped up pretty decently considering we really haven't moved today. It should have gone pretty flat. Over on our total, we did try to come back up, break our resistance, but we got rejected. We also tried to break support, but we rejected that as well. So we're kind of in between the two right now. Stochastic is coming out, RSI is coming out, momentum is rolling over, and our VWAP is heading toward the bearish territory. If that VWAP flips to the bearish territory, we could get a leg down. Our money flow is bearish, so we would have both those things in the bearish territory on the daily. Our money flow is trying to break through this neutral, but it's not really getting much strength past the neutral, so we could see it just roll away if our VWAP continues to fall. Over on Bitcoin dominance, we are testing our support resistance area, so I am going to actually move this pattern, make that the triangle that I suggested yesterday. So like I said, that would have a pretty similar breakout area to around this 48% zone. Our RSI is starting to curl, Stochastic is pushing up, our VWAP is rolling away, and our momentum's pushing forward, but we're making bearish divergences with our Stochastic and our momentum, so I would keep an eye on them. Money flow is also rejecting away from neutral and coming down. So if the VWAP continues down, it is very likely we could see continued price action down or dominance starting to slip in this case. Over on Bitcoin futures, we are pretty flat today, much like everything else. Stochastic is coming down from a bearish cross. Our RSI wants to get a little bit of a bounce as it does have some strength, but with that strength waning, that could start to roll away. Our VWAP wants to break into the bearish territory, so I would watch the next candles closely. If we keep bearish momentum on our VWAP and our money flow keeps heading out, we're likely going to reject away and see lower price actions. Over on the 4 hour, you can see we do have a little bit of a gap up we could still fill yet. So keep that in mind, we could jump up, fill that gap, and then possibly see a rejection. So just watch that 28K level very closely. Over on Bitcoin, we are starting to roll away, rejecting away from our point of control, testing the top of our pattern. So this could help break us forward if we are able to get a bounce here. This was a descending triangle that was forming, so we are still able to fall back into it. This could be a freak breakout, and then we could see it bring us down. Our momentum's overall got bearish divergence and is starting to curl over. Our RSI is starting to head down, and the momentum's starting to roll away. The VWAP is testing that neutral, so it wants to break bearish. I would keep an eye on things. If the lower time frames are weak, this likely will cross and drop lower. Our money flow wants to get a little bit of strength. We did come up for a higher high, but we're starting to kind of flatten out. If we start to roll over from here, we could make a lower low and then resume a bearish trend. However, if we curl back up and break this neutral and that VWAP manages to get a bit of a curl, we could push forward and get a bounce from here. If I can find my mouse over on the 4 hour, we do have a green candle that wants to bounce us off of this pattern, so I would watch the next candle closely. If we're able to form a kind of rounding pattern here, we could see a rounding bottom that could break us forward. Our RSI is heading up, momentum's trying to head up, but it is overall coming down as our VWAP's in the bearish territory. We are getting higher lows on our VWAP with higher highs, so the VWAP's in a little bit of a bullish trend, but I would take it with a grain of salt. It could easily push over, round away, and start a breakdown from here. I would keep an eye on it, though. If we break above this -9 and continue this trajectory up, we could confirm a bit of a bull trend. Our money flow does want to make a bounce off the neutral. Our stochastic's pretty beat down, so the RSI doesn't have very much strength to it. So I would watch this stochastic. If it just rides this zone, our RSI is likely going to keep tapering away. Over on the 2 hour, our RSI is overall trending slightly out. We are losing a little bit of strength. We're getting lower lows. Our stochastic is trying to get a bit of a push up, so that stochastic can break through that 30. We could get some bullish strength to help push us forward from here. However, there is the possibility that we could form a bear flag here, so I would watch out for that. Our momentum is overall falling with a green dot. That green dot's because our VWAP's trying to break through the neutral, so if the VWAP can break through the neutral and carry up, that would be positive for the daily and the 4 hour. However, if the money flow continues down and the VWAP rejects here, we likely will see a rejection down through this resistance and possibly continue a downside from there. Over on the 1 hour, our stochastic is rounding away. RSI is going pretty flat. Our VWAP is struggling to get above this 8.8 zone, so if we aren't able to break above this zone, we could see a rejection here and us break lower. We did struggle here in the past, but we did manage to bounce and continue forward. So if we can do the same thing, we would get a pretty decent move forward. However, if this VWAP starts to reject away and break down, that could start a bit of a leg down, as our bullish momentum for our VWAP is getting really light here compared to back here. Our bearish territory, on the other hand, is starting to pick up. The momentum's getting lower lows, but it does want to come up with that VWAP in the bullish territory. So again, if it maintains bullish strength, that's good. But I would just watch out for this VWAP and money flow to start to round off from here. This dragonfly candle is a bit showing that sellers got exhausted, so we are getting a green candle. If we can continue with green candles and break through this 27.6 zone, that would be positive for us. However, if we come up to this zone and start to retrace from it, we could see the support get broken then. Over on graph for the daily, we are somewhat going down, not very strong. Bearish divergence on our stochastic, our bearish cross. RSI is starting to head down. We are going kind of flat here over the last two candles. Momentum's rounding away with a red dot as our VWAP is breaking into the bearish territory. Our money flow is pretty flat at this 5, so if we can't break above this zone, we're likely going to see a pullback, at which point we could drop lower. This may act as some sort of goofy double top too, so I would keep an eye on that, as this could be our leg up, our drop, our leg up, and then we could see a drop. So that could break us beyond this pattern and invalidate this pattern from trying to play again. I'm going to delete the bottom since this pattern did kind of play out and we're going sideways, but I'll leave the top because we're most likely going to respect that for a while. Over on the 4 hour, you can kind of see that a little better where we have those arches, so that looks more like a double top there. Stochastic's heading down. We are pretty beat down with the stochastic. RSI is dumping. Our money flow is dropping. Our momentum's in the bearish territory pretty decently. So overall, things look more bearish than bullish. If we don't get some momentum to the upside from here and we continue to break down, we could break through this support zone, at which point we could see lower price targets. Over on the 2 hour, we could be starting to flag here, so I would keep an eye on that. Stochastic's starting to round away, RSI is starting to round away, our money flow is struggling to establish a trend, and our VWAP is in the bullish territory, but it's trying to head toward the neutral. If that VWAP crosses through that neutral and gains some strength with the money flow, we could see continued price action up. However, if the money flow falls into the bearish territory and our VWAP rejects, then we're likely going to continue price action down. At which point we would test around this like 8.5 zone, possibly around this 8.4. If we break that, that's when we may see our quicker drop down. Over on the 1 hour, our stochastic is starting to head out, not financial advice by the way. RSI is starting to head out, money flow is pushing into the bearish territory, and our VWAP's in the bearish territory as well. Our momentum's getting a red dot, pushing us lower, so we could start to reject away here. If the VWAP picks up a lower low, we could start a bearish trend, especially with the money flow being bearish as well. If we break this support level, it is likely these two things could start to bring us down. Over on Anchor for the daily, we are starting to sell off a bit. Stochastic's starting to get bearish cross, we have bearish divergences, RSI is heading out. Our momentum is rounding away with a red dot as our VWAP has broken in the bearish territory, and our money flow is starting to head out, so I would keep an eye on the money flow. If that money flow comes down through the bearish territory and our VWAP still in the bearish territory, we could be in for a sell-off. Over on the 4 hour, we have a manipulation X that brought us down pretty decently so far, so we may start to see some sort of a bounce as we broke back into this pattern. But we have seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches to the top here, and 1, 2, 3, 4 touches to the bottom. Usually you only get 3, so for us to be within this pattern still is kind of goofy. This could be a bit of an up channel here too, that could end up just pushing us away, so this could be the start of a breakdown of that. RSI is coming out, momentum is coming down, our stochastic's getting beat down, it doesn't really have very much strength at all. Our money flow has fallen into the bearish territory, and our VWAP is starting to pick up some bearish strength. If our VWAP gets a lower low and our money flow continues down, we could break through the bottom of our support and continue to see this pattern play out finally. Over on the 2 hour, we are getting a little bit of a push. If I can get a good zoom, we have indecision candles left and right, one going up, one going down, so they kind of look merged together. Our RSI is heading out, our momentum is pushing into this bearish territory as our VWAP is in bearish territory. That VWAP does want to push through the neutral, so we are trying to get some bullish strength. If that can cross through, that would be good for us as our money flow is bullish. So we could get bounce and continue up and try to test this resistance. If we broke through it, that could be indicative of price action going up. Our momentum is pushing down though, so I would keep an eye on that as our RSI is starting to lose strength And the money flows overall in the bearish trend, getting lower highs and lower lows. So I would keep an eye on that as well. If the money flow keeps doing that and the VWAP rejects away or doesn't get strong bullish strength when it crosses neutral, we could just see a rejection and a reversal of any gains. Over on this 1 hour, our RSI is starting to head out, stochastic's starting to round away, VWAP is rounding away, and our money flows in the bullish territory, but struggling to get strength. We have a slight bullish trend, but it's not a very strong bullish trend, so I wouldn't bet too much on it. It does look like we did make a gap up here that we could come up and fill around this 2-cent zone. So we could revisit that zone. We also have another one right around this 2044. So we could visit those gaps, try to fill those, and then maybe see a rejection afterwards. That would set up some sort of like goofy double top on this 1 hour. Like a really stretched out one. RSI is overall trending out, stochastic's rounding away. VWAP's about to break bearish and the money flow is about to break bearish, so I would keep an eye on those things as they could drag us lower. And we may fill those lower gaps first, and then come up and fill these higher gaps after. Our momentum is getting higher lows. We have a double green dot that wants to bring us up, but with that VWAP falling, that may be short-lived. Over on XRP for the daily, we're outperforming everyone, and we managed to hit our resistance area. So we have come up for another test. We do have about 4 tests of this resistance. So if we do not break through this area soon, we could get continued price action down, a rejection, see this flag play out, and visit the value area low. However, if our next couple candles manage to break us through these 3 resistances, both our flag and our local resistance, and our Fibonacci area, then we could trend higher and try to go toward the 57 resistance. At which point, if we broke that, I think it's like 70 cents or something goofy, we have like a crazy gap way up after that. So there's quite a run-up possibility if we break through these. Stochastic is starting to get a bit of a cross that could happen. It wants to go bullish, but we're in a bit of a spot that doesn't look too confident for that. Our size overall heading up, momentum's trying to push forward. Our VWAP's getting lower highs, it did bounce off the neutral. Our money flow is in a bullish trend, so those are going decent for us. So some of our indicators say we do have a decent possibility to move forward, but I would just tread lightly with the way the rest of the market looks. We have a reversal arrow and a green dot on the 4 hour here. Usually when I see those together, they don't play out very well. I can't find any recent ones offhand real quick. But if you look back and you look at this yourself, you'll find them where usually they tend to break you down. RSI is trying to trend up, stochastic's trying to ramp up, our VWAP is trying to ramp up, our momentum's trying to head up. So we do have some bullish strength here. Money flow did cross bullishly, but it doesn't have very much strength on that money flow, so I would watch if the money flow just rolls over. This could have been a manipulative push up. That could just see a corrective action down. Over on the 2 hour, stochastic's starting to round away as our RSI continues to push forward. Our money flow is starting to trend out. Our VWAP is pushing forward pretty strongly. We haven't really been this high for quite some recent history. Last time we got up in the zone, we did get a little bit of a pushback, and then we went a little bit lower and got a bigger pushback. So I would keep an eye on things. We really don't visit this area too often without getting some sort of correction. Our momentum does want to come up as our VWAP's pushing strong, so I would keep an eye on that, but with the money flow starting to fall, that may be short-lived, so I would keep an eye out for the money flow on this lower time frame and the VWAP. If the VWAP starts to curl here and the money flow breaks bearish, which it wants to do right now, we could see lower price action. Our stochastic wants to push off with a bearish cross, our RSI wants to push away, our momentum is trying to ramp up, but with that VWAP kind of struggling to push a higher high past this 21 area, we could get a rejection. We have been in this area a couple other times before, but we did ultimately fall away from it. But that isn't indicative of what will happen. We could end up getting a decent push if we broke through this zone, but really we haven't been past the 21 in much recent history besides back here where we tested our previous resistance, which is where we are right now. That was at about 31. So you could hope for that, but that seems a little too much compared to where we do typically trend. Over on the daily for algo, we are pushing our support. We want to kind of break though. We can't really make up our mind. We did bounce off the value area low again, so we are trying to keep above both of these lanes. If we're able to close above these and continue to our point control, that would be pretty decent for us. We may be able to head higher then, but if we just end up having this be an up channel, we could see us just fade away and pull under. VWAP is in the bearish territory. Momentum's getting bearish divergences with a red dot as our VWAP is broken bearish. Stochastic has a bearish cross and our RSI is starting to fall. So overall, we have bearish momentum here on the daily. Over on the 4 hour, you can see we're trying to push our support and make a bounce off of it. Momentum's heavy in the bearish territory, RSI is starting to fall, stochastic overall trending out, and our money flow is not too positive either, and it's starting to round away after going flat and trying to get through that neutral. Our VWAP is meeting some resistance, and met resistance previously here and rejected at the 2-6 zone. Still watch for a rejection. If this VWAP rejects right here, we will see lower price action. However, if that VWAP breaks bullish, we will probably see a bounce if that money flow can manage to go with it. Over on the 2 hour, we could have a bit of a double bottom here that could try to push us forward. RSI is overall trending out, stochastic's trending away, our money flow is pushing out, and our VWAP's overall getting lower highs and starting to bearish trend, so I would keep an eye on that. Momentum does want to curl up, but with that VWAP getting a weak cross up, it could round away, and we could see a red dot quickly after this green dot. Over on the 1 hour, we have a bearish engulfing candle here. Again, if you're not familiar with these candle patterns, real quick smash that like, hit the subscribe, and join us in the Discord. Our money flow is maintaining bearish momentum, VWAP is starting to come down, stochastic's starting to round away, and the RSI is starting to head out. The momentum does want to come up, but with the VWAP starting to reject away, that could be short-lived, and we could get a rejection from here. So I would keep an eye on the next few candles closely. If we break this support level, we would be in for a downtrend. However, if we get some green candles to bounce us up and away from here, we could try to trend higher and try to break that point control. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a wonderful night.